matchup is presented by GMC. We are professional grade. Let's send it to TD Garden's PA announcer, Jake Zimmer.
And remove your caps for the singing of the national anthems. Accompanied by Bruins organist Ron Poster. Please welcome Todd Angeli.
Our home and native land, true patriot love, in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide old Canada we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Tonight starts a three-game homestand for the Bruins. They'll play on Saturday afternoon and on Monday afternoon here at TD Garden. Last year, the Bruins 24-11-6 on home ice. Starting goalies are presented by Jordan's Furniture. Fall savings going on now for a limited time. Don't miss your chance to score big. Caden Primo is going to make his first ever start against the Bruins with the former star from Northeastern. His counterpart at the other end of the ice. First start of the year for Jeremy Swayman. Last year in the National Hockey League, 8th in goals against and 5th in save percentage. In the playoffs, he led all tenders in save percentage. Jim Montgomery talked about it this morning. He was ready to go. What could be better than this? His counterpart, Marty St. Louis, beginning his 4th season behind the bench for the Canadiens. And the Habs picked up his 2-year option in April. So he's going to coach the next 2 years through 26-27. Your officials tonight, Wes McCauley and Michael Markovich, are your referees. McCauley drops the puck, and the Bruins and Habs, the home opener, is underway. Puck rifled into the right corner in the Canadiens, and Geekie going to chase. Took a hip check from Cooley, flipped into the slot. Marchand a drive, and Primo sucks it in. And out in front, Geekie starting to carve out some room.
Well, it all starts with a face-off win. Bruins determined to end up with puck possession. They get the puck deep, and this is what they want to establish early in the hockey game, is that forecheck, which was almost non-existent in game one. Gain the red line, and then seal off the boards on the wraparound. It's a good read. Coyle takes the wall away. Geekie with the initial pressure. Win puck battles. Quick 2-on-1 down low against Guhle, and then you find the open man in the high slot. That's Marchand for a quick one-timer.
Marchand sitting on 401 career goals, one back of Rick Middleton for 4th all-time. Sent on net, and Primo the stop, and then the rebound just sent wide by the captain. And it looks like we got a trip behind the play.
Yeah, when Marchand got that rebound, had that second chance, I believe that's where the trip occurred.
Number 30, Montreal's got a minor penalty for a trip.
That's going to be on Primo on that rebound chance. Again, the Bruins winning pucks early. First shift of the hockey game. That's a good sign. Now it's about sustainability. Good footwork on that draw by Coyle. Geekie gets that shot through traffic, on target, rebound opportunity, bodies to the net, chance for Marchand, goaltender trip.
Oh, Caulfield looks like he's going to serve the penalty. And Elias Lindholm will dig in and take the faceoff. The Bruins on opening night in Sunrise, 1 for 4 against the Panthers. Bruins win the draw, sent up top, it's ripped wide by Pastrnak. Back of the net now, Zacha. Shoveled up top, Pastrnak takes a look, he'll brush it to McAvoy. Goal and an assist on opening night. Now Marchand up top, McAvoy fires, and it got deflected. It looked like it hit Matheson on the way in. Now McAvoy send it over to Pastrnak through the box. It's deflected over the glass.
Yeah, Bruins moving the puck quickly and with purpose, Judd. Trying to get Montreal isolate players, create those 2-on-1s. It looked like Marchand wanted to go back to McAvoy for that quick one-timer. McAvoy didn't feel like that one-timer was in a good spot to let it fly. Pastrnak went for the one-timer early. That was out in front of him. That usually means it's going high. Good use of the bumper by Lindholm to maintain possession. Pastrnak took a big hit as a result, but that's the price you pay even in a 5-on-4 situation.
It's a Bruins Ford Bronco horsepower play as the Bruins win the faceoff. Pastrnak ripped one off of the pillows of Primo. Far side now, Pastrnak trying to dig it free. And it's shoveled up the boards by Guhle, and the Bruins will have to track it down. We've played just over a minute. Here's McAvoy, who had a career-high 12 goals last year, only 1 on the power play. Pastrnak over the line. Hits the brakes, threads it down low. Marchand got tucked. Far corner, the Bruins create a turnover. Zacha swings it off the inboards over to the near side as Pastrnak up top. Gets a return feed across the ice to McAvoy. He'll back it off. 50 seconds left on the power play. McAvoy sets up in the far half wall. He'll change spots with Pastrnak. Sends it back to him. Pastrnak to Lindholm. Right of the net. Just off the heel of Marchand's stick. Might have been deflected coming in. Raked over to the near side. Lindholm. Now Zacha shoots, and that one ramps up and over the glass.
A lot of good motion, a lot of good offensive zone time, quality entry into the offensive end. All the things you're looking for the man advantage. They didn't get the result with that first unit, but a lot to like about it. Everybody seemed to be on the same page. Zacha's going to get this last chance. He just had to dust it off for a second, and that allowed for that deflected shot to go out of play.
Second unit on for Jim Montgomery. This has a different look. Mason Lohrei a healthy scratch tonight. So Hampus Lindholm will quarterback the back end.
Yeah, and Jim Montgomery talked he liked the fact that he gets the puck to the net.
Up top, here's Lindholm. Ripped one. They score! Right on cue. Hampus Lindholm rips one low to the far post. A power play goal. Bruins 1, Canadians nothing.
One of the strengths, Hampus Lindholm, when he does work the top of the umbrella on the power play, he doesn't get a lot of time there. They try to give Lohrei some of that ice time. Of course, McAvoy's on the first unit, but with Lohrei sitting tonight, he's going to be on that second power play unit. He takes this pass. It's kind of back off his left hip, but he's got enough body position. When you watch his footwork, Judd, in order to get the lane to the net that he wants, that's impressive. And you got 2 Bruins going on the net. Ideally, you 2-on-1 in front of the net. Brazeau's trying to get there. And the shot from Lindholm.
Montreal is challenging for goaltender interference.
So it looked like Brazeau, Brick, as he was coming out front. Now, his feet were outside the blue paint. He may have gotten a piece of the knob of Primo's stick.
Yeah, both he and Geekie were coming in, and we showed you Brazeau coming from below that goal line on the quick one-timer release. We're focusing in on Brazeau. Oh, that's not goaltender interference in the spirit of the rule.
Andrew Raycroft is ringside for us. We need a goalie's perspective, Razor.
Oh, boy, this is, to your point, Brick, it's in the spirit of the rule. It's not goalie interference. Now, watch Primo's knob of his stick get in on the hands of Brazeau as he's coming through. If we draw a straight line from above, is that elbow inside the crease? Is Primo entitled to that space? His skates in the crease. This could be coming back.
After reviewing the play, it was determined that there was goaltender interference. Therefore, no goal.
So we're back to a scoreless game. And Razor, before we get the explanation from the Situation Room, what do you think ultimately tipped it in the Canadiens' direction?
Well, I think it's the fact that Brazeau's skate is in the blue paint. He gets a piece of Primo's knob, and on top of all of that, that's where the shot came from. That allowed, Primo got spinning around. Shot comes from where Primo was and where Brazeau was. Goalie interference.
Yeah, I don't like it, Razor. I don't like it at all. From every angle I look at, it's minimal contact, if any. In my opinion, I think Primo had an opportunity to do his job in that situation.
He does but the question is what's minimal, and that's why this is such a tough call, right, Brick? Because sometimes something minimal, the puck's coming at a goaltender at 95 miles an hour. It doesn't take a lot to throw you off in that situation. Again, the problem is we're going off of crease and where the guys are, and in that case, you see Brazeau's feet in the crease. But I agree, the spirit of the rule is let them play. We're not quite there yet.
So the Bruins in the power play. Once again, high slot now. Geekie takes a look across. It never got to Frederick, but a stick check from Frederick keeps it in. Brazeau will motor to the far side. Up top it comes. Lindholm, his shot blocked. And a little time and room for the Canadiens just out of the box. The designated sitter, Cole Caulfield, wearing 13 this year. He changed from 22. We'll talk a little bit more about that. He did it in honor of Johnny Gaudreau. Here's Kirby Dach. His shot blocked as he tried to pull it to his forehand. New look up top. Jack-Eyes drive. Hit by Frederick. Brushed down low. Lindholm shoveled it to the far side.
Kastelik blocked that shot from the left point, and he's trying to fight through a little bit of a stinger.
This puck rimmed all the way out. Geekie hacks it down low. He's looking to change as Primo will set it up. We're scoreless, just past 3 minutes played. The Canadiens victorious last night. Sam Montimo got the start, shut out the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was the first time in more than 200 games that the Maple Leafs were shut out. He made 48 saves. They were outshot 48-27. Cole Caulfield had the winner on the power play in the first period. Peak takes a look, sorts it out. Bruins completing some changes. Peak now, drills it ahead, hit Pasternak in stride, Lindholm across, Pasternak not in a position for the one-timer. Now Lindholm cycles it up top, Wotherspoon in the lineup tonight, shoots, and it's taken in by Primo.
Yeah, Montreal trying to spend a little time in the offensive zone because it's been all Boston, plus the power play. Jack-Eye lets that shot go, a little half snap, a little wrist, a little half slap somewhere in between. Kastelik gets in the shooting lane, got in a bad spot, tried to do a little pain management, went over to the Bruin bench, got some attention, made his way down the runway. We'll keep an eye on that. And then a nice offensive rotation by the Lindholm line. They had the cycle game going on the off wing, and Witherspoon got involved. You like to see that five-man rotation with puck possession, offensive zone time, something that was absent on Tuesday night.
Those were the two things that Jim Montgomery talked about at the start of the season. A, not to spend a whole lot of time in his own zone, and B, create some anxiety and spend a little bit more time in the offensive zone. Being able to cycle the puck will go a long way toward that. Barron snapped it up the middle, kicked by Wotherspoon onto the bench. So we've got to stop. NESN and Xfinity would like to welcome viewers to our first Boston Bruins telecast of the 24-25 season. Thanks for joining us. Mark Kaslick back on the bench. That's a good sign after that block shot earlier. Coyle will dig in for the faceoff. He had a career-high 25 goals last season. I asked him how many people he had coming to the game tonight. He said, I let my dad handle the tickets.
That's a dad's job anyway.
Puck hacked back into the Bruins zone. Wotherspoon's on it, settles it. Beginning his second season with the Bruins. He played a career-high 41 games last year here in Boston. Slowed back of the net by Primo. Sent to the far side. Gooley sidesteps a check. Gooley. His outlet pass picked off by the Bruins, but Marchand couldn't feed it deep. Now Evans skates over the Bruins line, avoids the hit from Marchand. To Anderson. His pass into the slot. Kick to the end boards. Lane Hudson, the defenseman who played a couple seasons at BU, sent it up top, and it's drilled wide by Evans. Geekie hammers it all the way down, and we have icing, so the same crew in black and gold will have to stay on.
Yeah, Marchand flew the zone. He was looking for maybe a sneak away after the shot went wide. Geekie didn't see him right away, and then when he decided to try the long distance bank shot, Marchand was already thinking line change.
So the faceoff will be in the near circle. Marchand beginning his 16th season with the Bruins, currently the longest tenured athlete here in the city of Boston. Christian Dvorak will take the faceoff against Coyle. Dvorak wins it. Jack-Eye looks across. Instead, he'll go down the left wing boards, and the puck is heeled to the far side by Dvorak. Bruins trying to hack it free, left of the net, sent towards Swayman, his first save, as he stops Dvorak. Coyle stripped to the puck. Dvorak to the right circle. Barre, Bleulet up to the near side. Jack-Eye backs it off, sends it down. Wotherspoon had a problem with it. Now Kapanen making his NHL debut. Sammy Kapanen is his uncle. And the Bruins feed it back into the Canadiens' end, and they get the change. Arbor Jack-Eye back of the net. He played just over half a season last year, experienced a shoulder injury. He's had shoulder surgery on both the right and the left shoulders here in the last 2 years.
Doesn't make him unique.
You are the Evel Knievel of hockey. I told you that for years. Here's McAvoy. He'll wheel ahead up the left side to the middle, and Frederick. He scored on opening night. To Brazo. Fires. That didn't get to Primo. Riley Tufte making his Bruins debut. Sent it up top. McAvoy a drive. That may have hit Brazo out in front. Primo didn't know where it was, and it slides back into the Bruins zone for icing.
Good puck battles down low in the offensive zone, keeping plays alive. They play that low-high game, and then a purposeful shot from the right point with traffic. Bruins do a nice job. Puck pursuit. Self-pass after the wall, protected with the body, good support close by, able to shovel that back, and then an accurate shot from the right point with Brazo. Brazo not bothered by that goaltender interference call. He's getting right back to the front of the net.
That's some big personnel on that line. Brazo 6'5", Tufte 6'6", but it's a different crew out there right now for this offensive zone draw for Jim Montgomery. Lindholm wins the faceoff. McAvoy, errant pass, look out here. Doc speeds ahead, angling over Zadorov, meets him in the left circle. And we're going to have a penalty here on Zadorov.
Yeah, the minute he put his free arm up, you knew the call was coming. Did a pretty nice job to deny the play, but he's going to go to the box.
Boston, number 91, minor penalty. Holding.
Zadorov slams the door. Bruins going shorthanded for the first time here in a scoreless game.
for what matters most. They're your neighbors and fellow Bruins fans. Find a local agent at arbella.com. Nikita Zadorov doing a nice job here. Didn't get the best angle, but with his big body and his big reach, he denies Kirby Dach from getting to the Bruin goal. And if you watch from this angle, the referee's arm goes up. He's in a bad position because he's directly behind the play now. And the minute Zadorov put his arm up, he felt there was enough there to call a hold. And don't bring Razor in on this because he'll tell me it was a hold.
He's not there to help the defenseman union. He's there to help the goaltending union.
Yeah. Well, you knew he had it right when he gave the analysis from the goaltender's perspective, but like I said.
Coyle will throw it up the middle and all the way down. The Canadiens scored their only goal last night against the Maple Leafs on the power play. Cole Caulfield had it. Caulfield last year finished second in both goals and points for the Canadiens last year. And he's got the puck. All 5'9" of him. It bounced out in front. Swayman had to be alert over at the near post. Bruins short for another minute and a half. It's chipped back of the net. The Bruins, it may have gotten lost on opening night, but they were perfect on the penalty kill, 6 for 6 against the Panthers. Matheson up top with a shorthanded goal. Dach shoots. That got blocked. Coming in. Hacked over to the near side. The Bruins pick it off. Can't get it out of the way of Matheson's left-handed blade. Now Dach across. Caulfield fires, and Swayman sucks it in. Here's the key player. Presented by GMC. We are professional grade. So Cole Caulfield, after the news of Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau's passing before the season started, changed his number from 22 to 13. And he had mentioned two things. One, he wanted to honor Johnny Gaudreau. He said it was such a thrill to play with one of his heroes after the hockey season at the World Championships. And he also mentioned how much that he meant as a smaller player, that he helped pave the way for guys like me. Up top, Hudson's shot got blocked, and the Bruins will burst the other way. Here's McAvoy, might have a 2-on-1. Pull and drag, sent it to the far side, and it never got cleanly to Lindholm.
Oh, what a nice play. Good read in the defensive zone by McAvoy to make the steal. And then a long-range give and go with Pavel Zacha to help put that play in motion. Not to be lost in that sequence was a stop by Jeremy Swayman. On Cole Caulfield.
Marchand just stepped up and drilled Alex Newhook into the deck. He went. Across now, Armia sent it out in front. They score. There was a long right-handed stick that got in there. And it was Brendan Gallagher who tucked it in under the crossbar. And the Canadiens on top 1-0.
Yeah, if Gallagher gets a piece of this, he's made a career of scoring from this distance. After the big hit up ice by Marchand, the Canadiens end up with puck possession in the offensive zone. They're going to be able to find the Bruins are aggressive on one side of the ice. That creates a little 2-on-1. Armia just throws it in the direction, goes through the legs, through the skates of Brandon Carlo, tape to tape to where Gallagher is, off to the side of the crease. Nice little redirect high over the left pad and glove. Canadiens on top.
For Gallagher, his first goal of the season. Last year he had 16. He's in his 13th year with the Habs. Bruins send the puck down low. And if you're just joining us, the Bruins thought they had a power play goal. It got taken off the board after the Canadiens challenged for goaltender interference. And now it's the Canadiens that open the scoring on the power play. Jack-Eye wrists it down low, and I don't think he kept his puck in, so we've got to stop.
Well, one of the positives that came out of the game in Florida is the penalty kill for Boston. Panthers 0 for 6, and the Bruins with a shorthanded goal. There's the steal shorthanded by McAvoy. Draw people to you and pick up speed on the give and go. Nice return pass by Zacha, and then that little curl and drag, and he thought he had Lindholm, but the pass was too forward of him. There's the open ice hit by Brad Marchand just prior to the goal by the Canadiens.
Marchand will grab a seat. Marchand also, by the way, playing in game 1031 tonight. He's 6th in Bruins history in that category, only one back of David Krejci. Wotherspoon settles it, then pounds it up the left side. Bruins deflect it in. Just under 11 minutes remaining in the first. The Canadiens on top 1-0. Puck jammed back up the right side, and it floats into the Bruins zone. Peeks on it. A quick up to Tufte. Sends it to the middle, and Frederick. He'll slide his way in. He's got Brazeau tailing. Brazeau up top. Carlo shoots. Didn't get through. The Canadiens last night blocked a ton of shots. And now it's dumped deep behind Swayman.
To give you an idea how one-sided that game was. A ton of shots blocked. Still gave up 48.
Primo slows it. It's sent over to the far side. His dad, Keith, played for about 15 seasons in the NHL. Bruins send it out in front. The backhand short side. Primo the stop. And he's able to pounce on the Zacha rebound chance.
More offense being generated by the forecheck, and puck battle wins below the goal line. Doesn't have to be pretty, just be effective. This is where Brazeau, Frederick, and when Tufte's out there, this is where they can make a living. Nice little backhand feed, short side from Brazeau. Nice look from the ankle cam at the plays being made. Kind of in a tight area behind that net.
Zacha last year tied a career high with 21 goals. And the shorthand goal that he scored on opening night, his first since 2020 with the doubles. Off the draw, the Bruins rip it toward the net, but Zacha's shot was blocked. It's flipped to the corner, and Pastrnak trying to corral it. Squirts one to the middle, and the Canadiens have it. Left wing feed to Caulfield from Mossany, Wisconsin. Suzuki, the Canadiens captain, his pass to the middle, intercepted by the Bruins and pushed out to center ice. Now Elias Lindholm swoops in 3-on-2, cuts to the middle. Pass was at Pasternak's feet. Pastrnak tried to return it to him, and now it's the Canadiens sending it back to the Bruins line. Grabbed by Hudson. Hudson only 20 years old. He'll head off and change, leaves it for Arbor Xhekaj. Sent over the line. Here's Newhook, cuts down the slot to Dach, and sliding over with Swayman to stop it with the right leg. Now Beecher ducked under a check. We've got a penalty coming here on the Canadiens. It's going to be a trip, and the Bruins are going to go to the power play when we return.
Montreal, number 40, minor penalty. Tripping.
Nice stop by Jeremy Swayman. Newhook gets open middle ice. Little backhand feed. Looked like Beecher was there, but strong stick by Kirby Dach. Gets a shot on goal. Nice right pad stop. Moving left to right by Swayman. Back check by Armia in the neutral zone. Kind of skate on skate, but it was well after that when Beecher went down. but the tripping call was made.
Second power play chance here for the Bruins. They thought they opened the scoring on the power play, but that got wiped off the board after a goaltender interference challenge. Elias Lindholm will step in and take the face-off. Early on, the Bruins have dominated in this area. They've now won 12 of 16. McAvoy shoots. He scores! Charlie McAvoy, a dart from up top. A power play goal. Bruins won, Canadians won.
Well, never underestimate the importance of winning faceoffs in the offensive zone to start power plays. And it doesn't have to be a clean win by the center. You get some help from your wingers. Lindholm's going to win this behind him. Marchand's going to get there first. This is just possession. And again, the growth of Charlie McAvoy this season on display. Be a more effective guy with the man advantage at the top of that umbrella. You have a legitimate bumper guy in Lindholm on that first unit. It allows him, meaning McAvoy, a little bit more latitude out there to work from side to side. Got a great shot, used it, back of the net.
Canadians coming back into the Bruins zone. Evans ripped it cross corner. Gallagher, he opened the scoring for the Canadians. Back of the net. Bruins chip it over to the near side. Kastelik saw the hit coming, gloves the puck down, muscled it ahead, and out he comes, 2-on-2. Kastelik feeds it into the right corner, gets a little help from Beecher. They crash in, and Evans pulls it out of there. Saucer to the head, knocked down by the Bruins. They look to reload, flip it in, but now head for a change. So each team with a power play goal, just over 8 minutes remaining here in the first period. Home opener for the Bruins. Here comes Barron at the checkered line. He'll crank it in off the glass into the near side. Dvorak took a poke check. Barré-Boulet sent it up top. It's drilled into the middle, and that floater gloved by Swayman.
When the Bruins acquired Mark Kastelik in the trade with Ottawa that involved Linus Ullmark, this is what they had in mind. Fourth line center with a little sandpaper, a little muscle, a little strength, sees the hit coming, braces for it, follows the play up, hunts the puck. He's in good position to help Andrew Peeke down low. That's important, number one, as a centerman in your own end. And then he wins puck battles all the way up along the boards. He has good support. And you make it a three-zone play. You fight your way through the neutral zone, you chip it down deep, and you try to establish a forecheck. Those are good minutes and good plays. Simple but effective.
Up top, Cooley, his shot left to the net, they score! All by himself, Cole Caulfield, he dusts it off and then pounds it in. 2-1 Canadians.
Now this looks just like blown coverage in and around the Bruin goal. There you think about a bunch of those goals, 4 out of the 6, I would say, in the game against Florida were layups. Here's another one. This isn't because you got out-muscled or doing a puck battle. I think it's just lack of coverage. Caulfield finds a quiet spot, as a kid at 5'8", 175 will do. Good look from the right point. Throw it off net, looking for Caulfield. He's able to bunt it down on the backhand and tuck it in because he's wide open. If you're going to play for the shot block, you better get it, because people will be open behind you.
So 1 minute and 14 seconds after the Bruins tie the game, they trail again. Here's Zadorov. Back of the net, puck turned over. The Canadians have it. Send it up top. Now Hudson wrists it over to the near side. Caulfield, his pass deflected. Here's Zacha in a race for the puck. But Evans able to track back, or pardon me, Cooley. Out at center ice, the Bruins jam it back in, but Lindholm hadn't tagged up, so we have an offside here. Lindholm waiting for an explanation.
Yeah, I'm not sure I gave enough love to Caden Gooley on that goal by Cole Caulfield. I said the shot came from the right point that had purpose. You know, don't let it get blocked because Caulfield's open on that weak side. That's a good look from Gooley at that right point.
Gooley, a first-round pick of the Canadians back in 2020, and they signed him to a 6-year, $33.3 million extension during the summer.
Yeah, playing on the offside with Mike Matheson, and those guys will get a lot of minutes. I think Matheson played 26-27 last night against Toronto.
Well, last year Matheson was third in the league, averaging 25.5 minutes per game. That was a career high, and he had a career season. And Swayman's going to freeze this puck with just under 7 minutes remaining in the first, and the Bruins trailing 2-1.
Yeah, there was some decision whether Swayman was going to slide it one way or the other to one of the defensemen, and Montreal doing what they should do, just go right down the middle of the ice. And that's led to the pushing and shoving. Change your lettuce, change your life with Charlie McAvoy's Hair Doctor, Dr. Matthew Lopresti. Free consultations at 1-800-GET-HAIR.
Sorry, I was just taking the number down. Face off in the right circle of Bruins end. Kirby Dach last year limited to only 2 games. He ripped up his knee early in the season, tore his ACL and his MCL. He was the 3rd overall pick of the Blackhawks back in 2019. The Canadiens in their 4th year of a rebuild under Jeff Gorton, the executive vice president of hockey operations, former Bruins guy. Now here's Koepke, cuts his way in, strong to the net, Primo the save. Back of the net, here's Kastelik. To Zadorov. Now Kastelik moves to the middle, shoots, he scores! Mark Kastelik, his first as a Bruin, a beauty! He sizzled it under the crossbar. Bruins 2, Canadiens 2.
This is just a hard-working play right here in the neutral zone. Knock a puck down, go side to side. Koepke makes a nice move, takes the puck to the net, protects it on the backhand. And again, winning pucks down low, get some separation, play the low-high game, find open space, attack the net. And what a shot by Kastelik. On the move. When you're moving left to right, right to left, in this case, left to right, you're improving your angle as a right-handed shot. You get almost to the hash mark. You let it go in stride while the goaltender's trying to move and try to set. And he just rips it over the glove hand. Top shelf.
The Bruins goal was brought to you by Audi. Visit your New England area Audi dealer today. Razor, a couple of these goals that have gotten past Caden Primo, are they going to the same spots?
Coming across the middle of the ice with a right-handed shot is a goal. You can't get ahead of it. You don't want him shooting back against the grain. But in that case, Primo didn't take enough depth, and Kastelik ripped it over his shoulder. Great shot.
Just over 6 minutes remaining in the first as these two teams have traded blows here. Montreal got it started. The Bruins tied it. Now they give the puck away. Getting it back. Here's Tufte. Subtle dish ahead to Frederick. He's got reinforcements coming, dished it across. Wotherspoon, who joined, and it hit him in the shoulder. Now Hudson, unable to get to it. The Bruins bang it all the way down. This is going to be an icing call. Faceoff will come down to our left.
Yeah, we just put a little package together showing Kastelik and the job that he was doing in the defensive zone. And what they like about him is compete, his ability to win battles, his strength, his conditioning, his toughness. And then he adds that kind of finish in the offensive zone. Wow, maybe you got more of a complete package than you realize.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, Brick. One of the guys that he said really left an impression on him when he played junior was a guy named Joel Otto. He said, if I could play a game in the National Hockey League like that, that's what I'm going for. Puck sent out in front, and Swayman able to cover it up. A little activity over at the far post as Carlo escorts Yuri Slavkovsky out of the way.
Yeah, Bruins are going to be shorthanded. The result of positioning, defensive coverage in and around the net.
Number 11, Boston's got a minor for a hook.
Bruins able to answer twice after the Canadiens take leads. First McAvoy on the power play, and then a snipe from Mark Kastelik. Bruins 2, Canadiens 2.
watch your favorite NESN originals like Bruins Academy for free. Download the NESN 360 app and log in with your TV provider if you already have NESN. Well, we're going to let, body position, stick position, so critical when you're trying to defend in your own end. Frederic gets on the wrong side, on the back side, gets the stick into the hands. He'll go to the box.
So the Canadians heading back to the man advantage. Scored on their first opportunity. Bruins win the faceoff, and they'll sizzle it all the way down. Back to get it is Matheson. Last year he was 9th among defensemen in scoring, a career high 62 points. Wristed in by Doc. Around to the near side, Caulfield in a battle. That puck wouldn't cooperate for Coyle. Up top, it's Matheson. Rink wide for Doc, wearing that tinted shield. Stops at the hash marks. Up top to Matheson. Doc attacks. His pass deflected by the Bruins, held in by the Canadians. Caulfield re-engages. Sent it rink wide. Doc right of the net. Out in front, deflected, and it flips in the air over to the far side. Swayman had to be alert. Matheson. Now Suzuki. His pass gets across. Up top, Matheson. His shot blocked, and here comes Coyle. He'll barrel ahead. But the Canadians able to come back and tap it off his stick.
Yeah, late in the PK for Charlie Coyle. Well positioned. Good rotation out high by the forwards, killing the penalty. Good shot block. Matheson was going the wrong direction, but Coyle had nothing left to create his own breakaway.
Played the first 66 seconds of that PK. Newhook snaps it in, and around it comes. Newhook last year missed a lot of time due to a high ankle sprain, as this one is centered out in front and covered by Swayman. Charlie Coyle grabbed a seat. Jim Montgomery here early in the season, figuring out how he wants to do his penalty kill rotation. One of the things he talked about, Brick, he wanted to save Brad Marchand as much as possible.
And why wouldn't you, right? I mean, the summer that he had in terms of trying to get healthy, to be ready for the start of training camp, obviously that put him a little bit behind. And given, how much hockey he's played throughout his career, you mentioned, what are we at, 1,000 and what?
1,031.
And those are regular season games, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And tons of playoff hockey.
And the all-time leading goal scorer in Stanley Cup playoff goals for the Bruins. And he's also the active leader in shorthanded goals in the National Hockey League. He's out here as the penalty kill expires, so the Bruins able to answer that test. And it remains a 2-2 game. Just over 3 minutes left here in the first. Here's Marchand. He'll lug the mail. Back of the net he goes. Circles up top. Here's the one-time blast by Pastrnak, fought off by Primo. Coyle back of the net. Sent it out in front. On and off the stick of Marchand and flipped out. Wotherspoon to Marchand. Tap back to him by Pastrnak. Bruins dump it in. Pastrnak racing for it. The poke check almost landed on a Bruins stick. Now it does. Held in by Carlo. Dusts it off. Swings it up top. Lindholm takes a look. Shoots. And Primo the save. There's a rebound available. Along the near side, Pastrnak knuckles the puck into the slot. It bounced away from Carlo, and it swept out to the neutral zone, but here come the Bruins again. Up the right side, here's Koepke. Threads it, Pastrnak chopped off his stick at the last second by Xhekaj. Now McAvoy gets it back. Shoots, Primo the save, the rebound. Pastrnak denied. Primo trying to track it down, and he covers it up. And now behind the net, Matheson gets involved with Pastrnak. And slowly things start to separate and cool.
So much more pace in this game for the Boston Bruins than we saw in game one. This latest example in the offensive zone, the great rotation. Pastrnak had a clear walk-in and just got poked off the backside by Xhekaj. But the Bruins keep plays alive in the offensive zone. When it came back in the neutral zone, they got quick re-entries. They're hunting the puck. Get a look at that chance for Pasternak kept you with a nice little feed. Jack-Eye came from the blind side. You know, you watch that. Pasternak's looking over his right shoulder in order to field the puck. He doesn't really feel or see Jack-Eye come from the other side, and he just got his stick in there when Pasternak was ready to make his move.
Rick, you talk about how the Bruins are hunting the puck tonight. One of the things that Charlie Coyle had mentioned, we just looked hesitant on opening night, all of us. Puck sent out in front. Primo kicks it aside. Kepke got knocked down. Brazeau swings it up top. McAvoy, here it comes, deflected off of Kastelik's stick and into the protective netting.
It was that low-high game again by this Brazeau line. I'll call it the Brazeau line. He's the one that's doing it. He's been getting pucks below the goal line, looking to make a play with the slot. If it's not there, use your D. It's a nice little cross. Offensive zone back to the right point. Diagonal, back diagonal. Again, a purposeful shot. Kastelik gets separation in front, gets a piece of it.
Last year, Brazeau played 19 games for the Bruins. Chipped in 5 goals.
It doesn't feel like a 2-2 game. A couple of mistakes, defensive coverage by Boston, and the puck ends up in your net, but outshoot Montreal 12-6. It feels like it.
Lindholm kicked out of the faceoff. Zacha will come in and he'll step in and take it. Jack-Eye couldn't get it out. Now Zacha corrals, feeds it, and it's ripped by McAvoy, and Primo fought it off. Here's Zadorov. Wrister deflected. It's score! That got deflected in the slot. It was Zadorov will just feeding an area pass between the hash marks, and it looks like Elias Lindholm may have his first as a Bruin.
The two newest Bruins coming over in free agency on July 1. They're going to connect here to give the Bruins the lead. Nice look from Zadorov at that left point. Took his time, waited, picked a spot, aimed for the blade of the stick of Lindholm. This is good hockey right here. Real good hockey. Zacha's occupying Savard in front of the net. Hopefully that's taking eyes away. I mean, I'm giving him credit that it was tape to tape and that it was Lindholm. Sure looked like it. And sometimes you can never tell what deflections happen, whether it hits a Canadian or if it hits the blade of a stick. But this puck had eyes right through the 5-hole of Primo. But all around, good hockey, good decision-making, good execution.
Those guys played together in Calgary and Vancouver last year. And the Bruins in front for the first time officially.
I think if Lindholm gets credit for that goal, which I think he should, I think he got a piece of it, but it also hit, I believe, the skate of the Canadian player that was in coverage.
Canadians will drift the puck to the near side of the Bruins end, pounded ahead. Tufte rolled it in front of the Bruins bench. It stays on the blue line, hammered around. Anderson takes a look. He had only 9 goals last year, the fewest in a full season in his NHL career. Anderson keeps the puck in, darts around Frederick, sent it toward the front of the net. That got blocked, and then Wotherspoon got taken out. And it's a 3-on-2 the other way. Kastelik will feather it down low and change. Frederick crashes in. 45 seconds left here in the period. Brought in by Kapanen. Hits the brakes. Denied by Marchand, and the Bruins will counter. Coyle pushed it ahead. Didn't get it deep. And it's flipped out to center ice. Carlo hammers it back in. Primo couldn't slow it on the dasher. Back of the net, Hudson turned it over. Coyle sent it out in front. Oh, yeah, Geeky waiting. Now Carlo takes a look, shoots, blocked, right of the net. Geeky fanned on his first centering pass. 15 left in the period. To Coyle. Trying to shake free from a check near side, working against the smaller Barre Boulet. And that's baked out in front by Coyle. That almost went right to Marchand. And that'll do it for the opening 20 minutes. So the Bruins trailed on a couple of occasions, rallied to take a 3-2 lead at the end of one.
And that's a good sign that they're not bothered by the fact that they allowed Montreal to score a couple of goals. Clean that part of your game up because you've been dominant in every other area. Love the pace, love the lack of hesitation. They came to play tonight.
Adam, Billy, and Barry are coming up next. 3-2 Bruins at the end of one.
Yeah, you got me, Rose? Perfect.
Not seen on TV, visit buyatoyota.com. Adam Peller and Billy Jaffe, Barry Peterson. Bruins with a 3-2 lead over the Montreal Canadiens after one period of play. For the second straight game, the Bruins and their opponent have combined for 5 goals, but against the Panthers, they were down 4-1. In this case, they're up 3-2.
A little different energy at times compared to the other night, right in the first period. They initiated a heck of a lot more than they did the other night. Different competition, but you know what? They did come to play, as Brick said. I really like how hard they have worked plays, worked the wall, executed. We're going to get into it well. A couple of other little things like face-offs, wall battles have been different.
Yeah, forechecking's been there.
Yeah.
You know, winning the one-on-one battles, that urgency that the coach talked about this morning. Offensively, terrific. Defensively, in your own end, boy, they got to work on some box outs here.
Too much, yeah.
And keeping the opponent to the outside. They're allowing them to get inside position. It's only game 2, but boy, too many easy tap-ins.
Bruins have trailed twice in this game, including down 1-0. We thought they were up 1-0. We'll get into that in a second, but here's how they tied the game at 1 on the power play.
And Charlie McAvoy, something that we've talked about an awful lot, looking to be the guy who runs everything for them, gets the puck, and what I love about this off the face-off, another one face-off in the ozone. Charlie McAvoy turns his body barrier and simultaneously never puts his head down once, thereby allowing the defense, the goalie, whatever, to really know what he's going to do. He completely keeps his head up the entire time. Marchand with the help off the face-off. McAvoy pivots, he opens up, he gets himself into a low shot opportunity right there. And with his head up the entire time, he can pick multiple spots to look at. And maybe they're thinking, is he going to pass it? Is he going to shoot it here? He keeps them on their toes.
Yeah, kept his feet moving, and I kept Montreal guessing, what is he going to do, pass it or shoot it? And he never allowed himself to get too far out of that area where he lost his angle. Just a great shot.
He looked to be in control of his shot of that first, and not even in control, looking for it, Adam, and that is very important.
2 goals in 2 games for Charlie McAvoy after a career-high 12 last year. The Bruins getting a goal from a new member of the black and gold. Actually, a couple of new members combining here. Cole Koepke with a nice drive to the net, and then Mark Kastelik finishes it off.
This is the forecheck we've been talking about. Billy, get your feet moving, take the pucks to the net, win the one-on-one battles. Now all of a sudden it looks like Montreal has it. Nope, the Bruins were able to forecheck, get it back to the point, and then create your offense right off of there. It's a great shot coming off the top, right off the crossbar. But one-on-one battles, you win it down low, get it to the point, and then crash the net.
Yeah, the way that Mark Kastelik's going to get the puck, I think he's maybe a little surprised that there's so much room. Great play by Koepke, no doubt about it. Right there, I think that play is even more important by Koepke. Yep. The puck retrieval. Watch this right here, though. Folks, Kastelik's thinking, wait a second, I can bring it all the way inside the arc of that circle, and he gets it. And again, the goaltender, Primo, just back. Razor talked about it a little bit. It was almost like just back a little bit further, but Mark took advantage of that and absolutely smoked it upstairs, or as Judd said, sizzled it.
A sizzler. 4 minutes and 59 seconds later, 2 more new members of the Bruins combining for a goal.
This is a continuation of what a big important theme of this period, Barry, is that the Bruins they're guys when they got the puck at the point were looking to make plays, right? They were looking to do things. Here you go, you get an opportunity for a shot, and then Zadora's going to get it, and again, head is up the entire time. Is he going to shoot or pass? Here, instead of shooting and looking for Zach in front, he does the second layer, and it ends up just ticking off, we think, just the heel of the stick of Zadora, of Lindholm, and then the defenseman in front.
It seemed like a lot of times last year the points were not as active offensively. Too many times would come back there and they kind of dump it by the net or get a shot blocked. There you can see as soon as it comes back to them that first period, all the defensemen, they were looking to get the puck to the net, and the forwards were swarming to put some bodies in front as well.
Teammates in Calgary, teammates in Vancouver, now teammates in Boston, giving the Bruins a 3-2 lead. This was the goal that wasn't for the Bruins.
Yeah, I thought this was a correct call. Maybe didn't like it, Billy, but I believe the way the rule is written, the goalie's there, he's entitled to it. And I thought Brazeau, as he came right out, he hit his stick, he takes the goalie and kind of spins him around with the butt end of his stick.
Yeah, and this is the problem with the rule. Like, and there's no contact. The left skate of Brazeau, it's probably like a size 14, so he has no choice almost. But it does make contact with the goaltender. Whether or not we like it's irrelevant. I mean, it's if there's any type of little contact, you know, like hosts, you're very soft. You know, they don't like it. Now listen, I mean, he ends up also getting not just the pad, but also the stick just a little bit. I'd love for that to be a no goal. I mean, a no goalie interference call. But the league sees it. They looked at it quickly.
If that's the case, I'd be having lots of majors on game misconducts and stuff.
You would lead the league in PIMs.
Sure. Bruins up 3-2 after 1 period of play. Coming up, we'll hear Andrew Raycroft's conversation with Mark Kastelik. Bruins' first intermission report on NESN is presented by BuyAToyota.com. For offers not seen on TV, visit BuyAToyota.com. trailed twice in that first period, came back to take the lead after one period of play, out-shooting the Canadians 13-6 and winning the battle in the face-off circle in a big way. Mark Kastelik tied the game at 2 with his first goal as a member of the Boston Bruins. Andrew Raycroft caught up with him.
Mark, great period from you guys. Good bounce back Tuesday night. Were you going high glove all the way, getting that puck off the wall?
Just trying to get it on net. Sometimes I don't know where it's going, but luckily I found a way in.
Well, if you don't know, the goalies don't know, so that's a positive. What was the focus for you guys in that first period and then getting down 2-1?
I think we wanted to have a good start. Obviously, try to play a little faster than the last game and just get physical right on away, and because they played a back-to-back, so try to wear their D out early.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that's the focus, keep wearing them down. You guys did a great job getting in on the forecheck. That's how you scored your goals. You guys did a great job. You worked it real well down from the corner, low to high. Lots of low to high the next 2 periods on these guys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a simple way to play, and I think when we're playing a simple style hockey, it benefits us.
Well, great goal. Keep going.
Thank you.
You got it.
That'll wrap things up with the first intermission report. Bruins up 3-2 after one period of play. Coming up, Judd and Brick with the second period call.
At Stop & Shop, we're committed to always...
Pros at your New England GMC dealer. We are professional grade. By EchoStore Technologies, vision, strategy, success. By buyatoyota.com. For offers not seen on TV, visit buyatoyota.com. By Sullivan Tire and Auto Service, a 100% employee-owned company. By Audi, visit your New England area Audi dealer today. And by Wasabi Technologies, the official cloud storage partner of the Boston Bruins. Both teams making their way back onto the ice. We're moments away from the start of the second period. Andrew Raycroft.
Thanks, John. Well, Jeremy Swayman was not only the talk of Boston through training camp, but also talk of the entire National Hockey League through his contract negotiation, getting signed after what was an outstanding playoff run where he was cool as a cucumber, presented by Grillo's Pickles. Find us chilling in the refrigerated section. We take a look at Jeremy Swayman's season and career numbers. Like I said, guys, talk of the National Hockey League finally getting that deal done on the eve of the season starting. 8 years, $66 million. Looked pretty good in the first period. Kind of a tough period for him to get into it. Just 6 shots, all difficult, not a lot from the outside, but liked how he battled through it.
Cool as a cucumber. Is that how you looked like the last time the Bruins opened up against the Canadiens in 2005, Razor?
Oh, I was so cool back then, Judd. There's no question. Full panic after a whole year off living in Finland for a couple months. I was in full panic mode that night.
That was October 5th, 2005. And the game came down to the final seconds. And if we have an opportunity, we'll take a look back at the penalty that turned the game at the end. Charlie Coyle's going to dig down for the draw against Nick Suzuki. And we're underway here in the middle frame. Puck drilled ahead and deflected deep by Coyle. Going to chase is Matheson. His backhand nearly picked off by Marchand, and Suzuki comes out. Suzuki, 25 years old. He was named the captain of the Canadiens at 23. That's a heavy burden. It's the youngest captain in Canadiens history. Lindholm back of the net. Swoops to the right circle. Sent it out in front. Primo didn't know where it was. And it swept back into the Bruins zone. Foot race here. Carlo races back, and icing is called.
Tremendous evidence by both Marchand and Hampus. Lindholm back in the defensive zone. Wins a puck around the hash mark. Throws it up the wall. Marchand knows the hit's coming. He takes the hit to allow Hampus Lindholm to pick up the loose puck. You gotta love when a teammate takes a hit to make a play. Take that hit, push the puck in the direction of your teammate. That's a puck possession play. Creates an offensive opportunity.
And Geekie stopped in front of the net. Gave Primo something to think about. In front of the penalty boxes, it's scooped up by Suzuki. He enters, tries to track the puck down. The Bruins got a piece of him at the blue line. Now Zacha dished it ahead. Here's Pasternak. Snapped in by Elias Lindholm. Back of the net. Hudson wanted to send it around. Second attempt he does. Cut off by Zadorov, who had 2 assists in the first period. Lindholm, rink wide on McAvoy's tape. Pasternak fanning the one-timer. Gets it back. His shot blocked by Hudson. Pasternak bumped it over to the far side to McAvoy. Just kept it on the blue line. Zadorov swings it around near side. Shovel to Zacha. Newhook takes a look. Met by McAvoy. He'll have to try back of the net. The Bruins start to change. And it's pounded out to center ice, back into the Bruins zone. Wotherspoon's on it. Settles a wobbling puck. The Canadiens make a change. Drilled up the middle and deflected in by Koepke. Back of the net, big David Savard, starting his 14th season in the league, got tripped up. The Bruins keep it in. Rink wide Pete puts a fork in that bouncer. Sent out in front, and Primo made the original stop and covers his own rebound. Caden Primo last year was part of a 3-headed monster in net for the Montreal Canadiens. And it stayed that way for the bulk of the season until Jake Allen was traded to the New Jersey Devils, as memory serves.
Yeah, not a fan of that philosophy, the 3-goalie thing. I mean, I guess it works for some people, but I'll tell you, if I was a goaltender.
Should we ask somebody on the goaltending union what he thinks of it as this wraparound is stopped? Razor, what would you think about playing in a 3-tender system?
It's certainly, there's only 2 nets in practice, so it's certainly not ideal. If you have a starting goalie, he does his own thing, gets in the rhythm. It's just really difficult on a daily basis to manage who's going in net where, who's going on the ice early with the goalie coach, who's going on later. It does add a different dynamic. Again, you can manage for a little while, but to do it for an entire season is somewhat stressful, not just on the goalies, but the coaching staff and the players to organize.
Primo last year only appeared in 23 games. As the puck is ripped over to the far side, held in by McAvoy, and after he did, he just drilled Barré-Boulet. Up top, Zadorov. Snapper deflected. Good traffic in front again. That's Brazeau, but it drifts to the far side. Recovered by the Bruins. Frederick out in front. Brazeau shoots. And Primo got a piece with a stick. Now McAvoy fires. Primo the stop, and he sucks that one in. And again, you have traffic out in front.
So much to love about this shift. You love the pinch down the wall by McAvoy. Makes a play on the puck, and then finishes a hit. And then Zadorov takes the pass from out by the blue line, and he's looking for a stick like he found Lindholm on Lindholm's goal in the first period. And again, puck retrieval. Brazeau gets a chance in tight. Hunt the puck down, use the point again, bodies to the net. So much to love about that shift.
Rick, I think the other thing we should mention is Jim Montgomery, not only did he make the one change in the backhand, he also shuffled the pairs.
Yep. Yeah, well, you knew that was coming. You know, I mean, you got a new player and a significant player in Zadorov. Where does he best fit? It's got to be trial and error.
He started training camp playing with McAvoy, and then Jim Montgomery made a change halfway through camp, and he put Zadorov with Peak. Up the left side, Pastrnak. He's got a guy breaking, and Elias Lindholm, he tries to hit him. It's deflected by Caulfield, who scooted back.
Yeah, good effort by Caulfield. Stayed right with Lindholm. I thought Pastrnak was going to try to throw a backhand feed earlier. He went the pull-up forehand route.
Suzuki swings it off the end boards. Behind the play, Elias Lindholm finished his check before he exited. Out in front, it's jammed toward the net. And a tester for Swayman may have glanced off the right side of the net. We played 3.5 minutes here in the second. Neither team has scored this frame. The goals were coming fast and furious for a time during the first period. It's 3-2 Bruins. They had to rally from 2 different deficits. 1-0 and 2-1. Marchand with a hit on Hudson. Welcome to the National Hockey League. Marchand along the near side. He'll crank it in. Hudson, by the way, last year played a couple of games after he finished up at BU. 2 assists in those 2 games.
Had 2 helpers in the first period tonight.
And now Marchand got tripped up, and the Bruins are going to the power play. It looks like it's going to be a hold.
Montreal's got a minor for a hold.
Yeah, we were just talking about Lane Hudson, and he's going to go to the box for a hold. Marchand having another quality shift. A lot more energized tonight as 63, the Bruins captain. Coyle with a little spin move there. Puck possession, free hand by Hudson. He'll go to the box. Pastrnak takes his long distance sneak away. I thought he was going back here right there. A little pull-up, and it allowed enough time for Caulfield to get his stick in a good position on the back check.
Bruins 1 for 2 on the power play thus far. Embarking on their third. Off the draw, it's rattled just by McAvoy's glove. Back into the Bruins' end. He's got to scramble back. Here's Anderson with a step. Shoots off the post. Pastrnak kicks to the stick. Nice play. Threads it back to Marchand. He'll work the half wall. Curls in the corner up top. Now McAvoy, who has the Bruins power play goal, to Marchand. Feeds it right at the net. Pastrnak. Lots of movement here. Marchand back of the net. Pastrnak to the far corner. Marchand tried to throw it across. Zacha was in the vicinity. The Canadians get a piece of it and slide it out. McAvoy feeds left. Zacha enters. Almost lost it. Snapped it around. Waiting for it. Marchand with a stick lift. It stays in. Lindholm. Goal and assist in the first. Up top now McAvoy. Now Pastrnak just lost the puck.
That was his bread and butter. when they overplay the one-timer, he starts to move towards the puck to the middle of the ice between the hash marks. Use that wicked wrister.
Frederick, second unit filtering on. Geekie takes a look. Lindholm, he had a goal washed out in the first on the power play. Geekie, left of the net. Brazo using that reach. Geekie now at the point. Geekie takes a look, shoots, blocked. Matheson gonna have to shake that off. 25 seconds left in the power play. Geekie gloves, but he couldn't wait for Frederick, otherwise it would have been a hand pass. Geekie. Now Lindholm shanked it. And Evans had it chopped off his stick by Charlie Coyle, and Lindholm has it back in his own zone. It's a Bruins Ford Bronco horsepower play. Brazo. Canadians back to full strength. The shot by Lindholm got blocked. And the Canadians, if they hustle, actually they're going to change. Otherwise, it might have been a 3-on-2. Newhook had it poke checked away. Lindholm thought about coming up the far side. Instead goes to Coyle. Turned over. Gallagher turns. Centered. The Bruins converge. Geekie over the red line. In it goes. He'll change with 13.5 minutes remaining in the second. Home opener for the Bruins, trying to square their record at 1-1. The Canadians trying to improve to 2-0 to start the campaign. They've missed the playoffs each of the last 3 seasons. Koepke left of the net. Centered. It never got free. He was looking back door for Beecher. Bruins changing on the fly. Peak to Tufte. 6'6", trying to fend off Gooley. Tracks the puck down, banked it up top. Wotherspoon across. Peak. Locked up in a battle with Newhook, the former BC Eagle. And look out, 2 Bruins nearly collide up top. That's Kastelik and Koepke. Both guys change as the Canadians rifle it deep. Now Pastrnak swoops back into his own zone. The shots are 18-6 Bruins, but the lead just 1. Barron brings it in. Originally a first-round pick of the Colorado Avalanche, came over to the Canadians in exchange for Arturi Lehkonen back in 2022. A key piece of their Stanley Cup drive. Now the Bruins snag it, and it's flipped deep. Elias Lindholm tried to flip it deep. That hits somebody on the Bruins bench, and we've got to stop. Pavel Zacha and the Bruins up 1 midway through the second. Canadians 2005, Andrew Raycroft, who's ringside for us in net that night. Here was the game winner from Michael Ryder late in the final few seconds. And what triggered it, a power play goal. And Razor, this looked like a questionable call on Tom Fitzgerald, especially in 2005.
Oh, it breaks my heart looking at that penalty. How did 18 seconds left in the game? There's my gear. With Swayman holding out, I had my mom and my dad bring some gear down just in case I was necessary over the next couple of weeks. Certainly, fortunately for everybody, it wasn't. But yeah, that's the gear right there. Pulled out of storage. 15, what do we got? 12, 13, 15 years old. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and the league measured them, and they said they were too small.
Yeah, exactly. Hurt myself wearing that now.
The Canadians rip it out to center ice. Tufte. He'll shovel it back of the net. Tufte wings it up top. It just escaped McAvoy. He has to leave it in front of his bench. And the Canadians will swat it deep into the Bruins zone. Zadorov played it around to the far side. The Canadians have not had a shot on goal since late in the first period with about 5.5 minutes left. They only have 6 in the game. But again, the margin is only 1. Long shot coming in, fended off by Swayman. For their first shot on goal in a while. Now Hudson left to the net. Avoids Peak, chased up the wall by Frederick. Backhands it into the slot, swung over to the far side. Swayman takes it in, and Gallagher denied.
Canadians must have heard you. 2 shots on goal. The first one not so dangerous. This one by Gallagher much more so because of Lane Hudson and his ability to get separation and make plays and pull people out of position. You see 3 Bruins out high by Lane Hudson, and that's going to open up plenty of space for the rest of the Canadians. They execute a pretty nice play, a little bit behind Gallagher. If he gets that a little bit more in towards the middle of his body, he's got more options and probably a better release point, but Swayman makes a big stop.
Gallagher,
you mentioned the shots, but you got to go, and we didn't get a good look at it, but that tough break on that wrap up the boards while the Bruins were on the power play on Charlie McAvoy, squeezed by him, and that led to that Josh Anderson chance that caught post on the blocker side. It was a good break for Boston after a bad break for Boston.
Anderson can fly. He's a big man. This puck is zipped back of the Bruins net. 11 minutes to go here in the second. 3-2 Bruins. Peak wheels in. Poke checked. And it's sent off the glass. Wotherspoon kept it in with a glove. On the near side, Geekie. Got a quick face wash there from Yoel Armia. And Armia will snap it in. That hits the linesman. Wotherspoon back to get it. Armia using that long range. Got it. Swung it around up top. Hudson walking the line. He'll scramble. Fakes. Feeds right to the net. Held by Cooley. Delayed penalty here on the Bruins. So the Canadians going back to the power play with a chance to tie the game at 3.
Indications are it's going to be a high stick, and all the Bruins looking around saying, who's the guilty party?
Boston, number 13, minor penalty. Isaac.
Charlie Coyle has a few questions for Michael Markovich, who's made a few calls here early in the game.
Now the Bruins, you know, Lane Hudson again, they're trying to sort out who's got who, man on man. We're in a bit of a hybrid. And it looked like it was friendly fire that caught the Canadian up high. Not Charlie Coyle, but a Canadian player. Looked like it might have been Brendan Gallagher, who's at the top of the blue paint. But maybe we'll have to get another look at it because there's no change in call here.
The officials have the option of reviewing if they call a minimum of a double minor. They cannot review it on a minor penalty. Bruins win the draw, and they've dominated in faceoffs early on, and they'll crank it all the way down. Matheson will skate ahead. The former captain at BC leaves it for Suzuki. He'll wheel his way in. Rimmed it around. Carlo. Nice play to shovel it up the wall. Beecher on his forehand, but he sent it to the middle. No stick for the Bruins. And Swayman takes it away as Suzuki try to go top glove.
Well, this is what you're hoping to see. Swayman in goal for Boston, trying to get his game in gear. You know, he wanted the net. He would have taken it on the opening night down in Florida if he could have got it, but the logical decision was we can certainly wait till Thursday for the home opener against the Canadiens. Suzuki with a drag snap, try to sneak it short side high, down on the butterfly, glove on a great spot, nice reactionary stop.
Zacha wins the draw, bumped off the side of the net, and Swayman gloves that. It hit some of the metal off the net post.
Chad, let's go back and take a look here. Take a look on the left side of your screen on your replay and where Charlie Coyle's positioning is. He's at the top of your screen in no man's land, and the high stick occurred away from, I mean, nowhere near him. So, all right, sometimes you identify the wrong guy, but even watching that replay, it didn't look like the Bruins were guilty of a high stick there anyway.
They're short for another minute 20 as it's sent on net. It bounces off Swayman's pads, and the Bruins sweep it down. Canadians have a power play goal from Brendan Gallagher tonight. Now Suzuki wheels his way over the spoke B, brings it in. Doc hacked it to the right corner. Back of the net, the Bruins recover, drill it off of one of the Canadians. That's Slavkovsky, and back out to center ice. Here's Doc. Left wing feed, played off the wall by Caulfield. Flipped it high to the right corner. Along the near side, a steal by Marchand. The league's active leader in short-handed goals. Left of the cage, back of the net. Tripped up. Matheson's going to go.
Gotta love the energy that Brad Marchand's playing with tonight, like he does most nights.
Number 8, Montreal's got a minor for a trip.
The Bruins do a good job of creating the turnover in the defensive zone. Marchand, he's taking a look over his right shoulder. Do I get any help? Do I have any play? And the Bruins were yelling to him with good communication. No, we're changing. We're changing. So he hangs onto the puck, takes it deep, self-pass off the boards behind the goal line, and in so doing, he draws the tripping penalty to Mike Matheson.
So the Bruins going to the man advantage for the 4th time. In 32 seconds, you still have that time remaining on the Coyle penalty. So it'll be 4-on-4 here. Zacha wins the draw easily. Lindholm to peak. Near side Pastrnak. Puck blew up on him. Tugged off of it by Hudson. Now the Canadians have it. Hudson. Back of the net. Fakes right. Skates up the middle. Send it over to the far side. Kapanen. Now Barron. Backed off by Hudson. Coyle out of the box momentarily. There he goes. And the Bruins embark on the power play. Now Peak. Up the left side, Pastrnak. Bruins completing some changes. Lindholm. Tailed by Evans. And it's drilled down to the Bruins bench. So the faceoff will stay inside.
Great opportunity right here. This juncture of the hockey game where you've been the dominant team. You haven't given up much here in the second period in terms of quality scoring chances. Maybe one, maybe two to the Montreal Canadiens. Now you have your power play, which has really looked good tonight. A lot of offensive zone time, a lot of quick puck movement, a lot of really good looks. You could use a little bit more finish. This would be a timely power play goal right here to establish a 2-goal lead.
They got a minute and 13 to work with. They've only registered 2 shots on goal. One of them went in. That was McAvoy. Lindholm plays catch. Marchand across. Pastrnak shoots. Primo the save. It's drilled up the glass, held in by Pasternak's leg, but his backhand finds neutral ice. McAvoy takes a look. Left it for Zacha. Zacha will now weave his way ahead. Saucers to Pastrnak. His pass hits a leg. And the Bruins have to regroup.
Regroup is the right word, Judd. You know, they're trying to make plays with very little speed, not taking the puck far enough back when they missed on their delay pass like that.
Look out. Here's Marchand, who'll wheel over the line, high slot. Angles over, protects the puck at the right dot, shoots Primo, takes it into the glove, dropped it. And then it's slapped all the way down by the Habs.
I don't know if the Bruins got away with a trip there after they turned the puck over just around their own defensive blue line, but they're still on the man advantage.
Here's Coyle over the line. Send it to the slot. Geeky's drive got blocked. Coyle recovers. The Canadians back to full strength. And Matheson out of the box. He's got the puck. Moves to the middle. Shoots wide. Back of the net. Carlo backing at it. Dvorak trying to pry it free. Drilled up to the left point. Jack-Eye catches across. Barron up top. Back to Barron. Right of the net. Shoots. Swayman squares up. And that puck sticks to him. So the Canadians unable to tally on that chance, and Jeremy Swayman, some big key saves.
Presented by your New England Ford dealers. For 47 straight years, more people have put their hard-earned money on Ford F-Series pickup than on any other truck. Billy Jaffe and Barry Peterson join me for the intermission report, and we will have post-game coverage as well. We'll break the Canadians-Bruins game down, and we'll look ahead to the matchup against the Kings on Saturday. I also want to take the opportunity, guys, to tell you about the Hockey Hub podcast. It drops Tuesdays and Thursdays. Judd and Brick, you've been a part of it. We've had some great guests, Rick Middleton and Sean Thornton, to kick things off.
Oh, that visit with Nifty had to be terrific. Love him. And Sean Thornton, always entertaining.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're limited in the podcast to a certain amount of time talking about Windows, talking with Nifty. I mean, we could have done 3 hours with that guy. I mean, fascinating life, fascinating career. And congratulations going into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. What a story that is about the gold medal with the Paralympic sled team.
That is a terrific story. And Rick, I know it's very political when it comes to the Hockey Hall of Fame, but he has a Hall of Fame resume.
Oh, I hope we're celebrating another Hall of Fame for that guy at some point in the near future.
Canadians crank it deep. Now along the far side, Kaslick trying to dig it free. He went bar down in the first period as the Bruins bank it inside the Canadians' end. It's sent back into the Bruins zone. Anyway, quick shout out to Oakers Technology. We'd like to welcome them to the Bruins broadcast. The booth has never looked better. Slavkovsky, he'll wheel back into his own zone. 20 goals a season ago. But the Canadians were very much a one-line team last year. They were hoping to deepen their scoring. They had 2 key injuries that took place in one preseason game. As this puck is sent off the surface, Patrick Laine and David Reinbacher both got hurt in a preseason game against the Leafs.
Yeah, it seemed to be, and I can't bear this out with statistics, seemed like there were significant injuries in this training camp, if not through one game of the regular season. You know, players of significance going down for, you know, I mean, Boone Jenner down, right? Is he gone for the whole year?
I think so. He just had shoulder surgery, and If Columbus hasn't already gotten enough bad news.
Exactly.
Here's Geekie. Sent it to Coyle. But Laine originally was feared to be worse. They judged it a knee sprain, and he's expected to miss 2 to 3 months. Reinbacher, it might be a season-ending knee injury, but the original timeline was 5 to 6 months he'd be out of the lineup. Zadorov scrapes it over to the near side. Coyle has to scramble back. And out to center ice it comes. Marchand tries to kick to the stick. Neither team has scored this period.
Yeah, and what's happened over the last 3 or 4 minutes now, after we talked about Montreal not having any shots on goal really to speak of, they've kind of started to manage the game in their favor. I'd like to see Boston assert themselves with some offensive zone shifts.
That was certainly the case early in the game. Territorially, the Bruins had the advantage. And one of the things they talked about, Brick, and I know we had talked about just before we started the game, the Bruins wanted to see urgency. They wanted to see a better job winning battles. The Bruins win this battle, and out they come. Pastrnak at the red line, wings it in. Just over 4 minutes left in the second. 3-2 Bruins. Back of the net, Zacha. Zacha wheels. Saucered, Pastrnak, he scores! Oh, there's nothing like homemade pasta. That's his 350th career goal. 4-2 Bruins.
Well, Pasternak's the finish, but here's where the work gets done. On the forecheck, two-man job. Watch this play by Zacha. He doesn't try to handle the puck behind the net. All he does is chip it to space so he can get separation and possession away from Savard. It's a nice play. Now spin. The minute you get a step or two, now you start to look to move the puck because the players have to switch coverage. Someone has to relieve from Savard to pick up Zacha coming on the other side of the net. That opens just enough time in space for Pastrnak to get open on the slot. And then that's a goal scorer's finish. Bullet, top shelf, close range. No chance for Primo.
We just showed the 47 that he scored last year. Since he has come into the league, only 2 other guys have scored more goals. Alexander Ovechkin, Austin Matthews. Frederick, kick to the end boards. How do the Bruins follow this up? What does this shift look like? They're going to have to track this wobbler down. Swayman out to play it. He'll drill it back to neutral ice. In it goes. 3.5 minutes left in the second. And the Bruins with their largest lead of the night at 2 goals. Now back of the net, the centering feed deflected over to the near side. The Bruins hack it out to the neutral zone. Dvorak had the puck hit him in the leg. Squibbed out to center ice. Koepke at the red line. Threads Beecher with a step right of the cage out in front. Trying to get a shot away. They score! The Bruins stay with it along the far side. John Beecher with a little burst. 5-2 Bruins. I think it's Koepke who tucked it home. It'll be his first as a Bruin.
Plays along the wall. Support, close support. Attack the blue line. Take the puck hard to the net. Avoid penalties. And never give up on the play. Nice job by Beecher. Great speed, good reach. Lay the puck off that left pad of Primo and maybe go for a rebound. Beecher can't get his own, but Koepke can on the follow-up. Again, the support, the net drive, the winning of pucks, the winning of board battles, all on display tonight. Those are 2 big plays here late in the period.
And the Bruins have got some production from the bottom 6 as well tonight. And they up their lead to 5-2. Those 2 goals 55 seconds apart, Pastrnak and Koepke. Koepke last year 9 games with Tampa, limited to 2 assists. He met their American Hockey League team in goals in Syracuse. Puck sent around to the near side. And the Garden's alive. Back of the net now, Geekie. The Bruins hunting for more. Back of the net, Marchand lets it roll. Coyle got a guy on his back. Zadorov keeps it in. To Marchand, sent it wide. McAvoy down low, spins off a check. Back of the cage. Here's Geekie. Corrals shoots, and it just hit Primo. He had no idea where that was. And the Canadians bring it out. They'll rush over the line. Slavkovsky across. And what a play by McAvoy to strip Suzuki, and we're going to get a penalty.
Sure looked like he got all puck.
Three Boston, a minor trip.
So Jim Montgomery's team is going shorthanded, but the Bruins extending their lead. Goals by David Pastrnak and Cole Koepke, his first as a Bruin, chips it in. 5-2 Bruins here in the home opener.
This game 5-2 for Boston. They're going to be short-handed, and there's no question that McAvoy gets all puck on this stick check, but the referee felt that it was a skate-on-skate trip that's going to send the Bruin defenseman to the penalty box.
McAvoy trying to talk it over there with Wes McCauley as he exited.
You know, you go to the quick succession of goals, Judd. You know, one of the traits or characteristics of teams that struggle to make the postseason is they give up multiple goals in short stretches of time, especially at critical points in the hockey game, and that's what Montreal's experiencing right now. They're going to need something here in the final 2 minutes with this man advantage to think they have an opportunity tonight.
So with McAvoy in the box, the Canadians going to the power play for the 4th time. Scored once with it thus far. The shots are 24-10. This period, 11-4 Bruins. Coyle against Newhook. Newhook missed a lot of time last season with a high ankle sprain. Won a Stanley Cup back in 2022 with Colorado, as this puck is wrapped up the far boards and out to center ice. Settled by Hudson. 2 assists tonight. He'll wing it in. Swayman let it go. Armia couldn't get it to land on the stick in the corner. The Bruins trying to locate it. Armia drilled it around. Handed up top. Hudson to the far wall. Newhook. Now Hudson walks toward the middle. He'll fade back. Barre Boulet right of the cage. Sent back to him by Armia. Banged up top by Newhook. A methodical power play here for the Canadians. And the pass of Tweener. Coyle may have influenced it, and down it goes. Both teams with changes on their special teams units. 54 seconds left in the period. Brought in by Caulfield. Jammed it down low. Zadorov had it slapped over to the near side, and the Bruins bounce it up top. Caulfield keeps it in, retrieves. Caulfield threads it back up top. Matheson. Now Suzuki. Matheson takes a look across. Caulfield, Matheson at the high slot. Suzuki shoots. Swayman got a piece of it with a glove. They've been bothered by Slavkovsky's long stick. 15 seconds left in the period. Now Doc feeds left to the net. That ricocheted off a leg. Hit the back glass. Centered. Tapped up top. Doc takes a look. Far side. It's fired. Swayman had to scramble over, and this misses the target, and down it goes. And then in front of the Bruins, now a little conversation going on between Suzuki and Swayman. And that draws some attention from the guys wearing black and gold.
Looked like Swayman was trying to get across, anticipating that one-timer from Caulfield, and Suzuki might have been in his neighborhood. And after the puck ricocheted all the way out, there was a conversation because Suzuki went right over to the Bruin goaltender. See if we can get a look at it. There's your exchange. No harm, no foul.
So the Bruins able to extend with 2 goals 55 seconds apart late in the second period. Adam, Billy, and Barry are coming up next here in the second intermission.
Ford dealers, Adam Peller and Billy Jaffe, Barry Peterson. Bruins with a 5-2 lead after 2 periods of play. It was a 1-goal game for the first 16 minutes of the second period, but then the Bruins with 2 quick snipes to give themselves a nice cushion.
Start getting the puck deep again, right? They control. They really did skate well in that first period. We talked about their defensive lapses, but they kept skating pretty well in the second period. They get it deep, and then they're going to get it to
Energy,
Pastrnak.
forecheck, win the battles.
Yes.
That's what they did much better in that second period, especially not having to put any pressure on Swayman whatsoever. Montreal didn't get their first shot on goal to almost like halfway through that period.
Yeah, and it ends up being Pastrnak who's going to get that goal, and it's going to come from Zacha. The puck gets behind the net. Here we go, and it's going to be, I mean, this is just an excellent play. It's going to start on the breakout. Pasternak's going to hold on to it. And here, just a good hard dump in, right? First French forechecker, second forechecker. First engage, second seal the wall. The spin move, the little bit of, you know, not the triple Lindy there, but a nice spin move. And he hits Pastrnak in between the circles. A bit of a miss by the Canadians, not covering one of the deadliest shooters in the National Hockey League. But right
here,
there.
Move, huh? Unbelievable.
Beautiful. And then he's going to bring it back behind the net. Look at all the eyes. 3 sets of eyes below basically the bottom circles are all looking at Pavel Zacha, and that leaves 88 wide open.
And it's 88 able to get a one-timer right now on this. He looks at Pastrnak, he goes, "Hey, great pass, but I kind of missed it a little bit. I hit it, and it was going in like a little bird, huh?"
2 goals in 2 games for David Pastrnak to begin the season.
This one he shot, though.
350 of his career. Yeah, this one looked a lot better as we bring you our electric moment presented by the all-electric Ford F-150 Lightning, the only EV that can call itself an F-150. Cole Koepke, welcome to the Bruins.
Yeah, and this is what we talk about, winning these battles. Neutral zone, Billy. Doesn't look like much of an opportunity, but bang, some speed. Beecher takes it to the net. Right there, Fribourg has got to control that rebound. He does it. Koepke comes in and slams in behind it. But Montreal, the neutral zone, looked like they were in good shape.
They did. You know, we're seeing the finish again right here. You love the drive to the net. We saw Koepke drive the net in the first period where he did a really good pull-up move from almost off the goal line. I'd say what I really liked about that play, though, Bear, was that neutral zone pass by Koepke, who's on he's a lefty playing his offside. He's comfortable there. And it was a quick pass, but he saw and knew that he had Beecher coming with speed. And so he didn't hesitate. He didn't dust it. He gives it right to him. Beecher gets going.
And the problem for Montreal, that one little pass beat 3 guys.
Exactly. It breaks everything down right there. So neutral zone speed, something very integral to this Bruins team to get the puck going north up the ice. That was a good example of it.
Cole Koepke's had a very good game for the Bruins tonight. His first goal of the year, second NHL goal, first in almost 2 years. And how about the captain's night? He's got an assist, but a lot more than that to his game.
Yeah, we talked in the pregame about 63, the old man at 36 years old, Billy, missing training camp, and you know it's going to be a tough get back going. Wow, he has looked good tonight. As Brick has talked about the energy, winning some battles, moving his feet, helping out on the face-offs, doing the little thing, and bringing the energy and getting the crowd into it.
Yeah, doing everything right. It's the old cliche, leading by example, right?
Yeah.
But the Bruins needed that tonight. Here he's making the right decisions. He opens up, you know, he's going to end up looking to go wide. The key to that play right there was the self-pass. You know, as he puts it behind the net, that gets away from one of the best skaters in the entire National Hockey League, Mike Matheson, and he's able to force Matheson to have to put his stick out, and that leads to the trip. Here he goes. They're going to be working the little bump play and everything. Just real heady type game.
And you can also tell, Billy, on the power play now with Lindholm out there, all of a sudden Lindholm, because he's playing that up high position in the bumper position, now all of a sudden Marchand on that wall has been able to make a lot more plays these first 2 periods.
All right, Bruins with a 5-2 lead after 2 periods of play here in the home opener at TD Garden. Charlie McAvoy committing a trip. He wasn't happy about it. That
can't blame him.
Well, the Bruins are 1 second from killing off that penalty. Bruins in command. The second period intermission report is brought to you by your New England Ford dealers and Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 47 years.
have a front row seat to experience tradition unlike any other all season long. From marquee matchups to the Centennial game on December 1st, you won't want to. BU, don't miss puck drop tomorrow night at 7 only on NESN. Out-of-town action brought to you by Ford. Panthers, Senators, Linus Ullmark making his debut with the Sens. 14 saves on the night so far. First period, Sens already up 1-0. Shane Pinto brings the puck all the way in from his own end. Beats Sergei Bobrovsky for the unassisted goal. 2-0 Ottawa. It's 2-1 at the second intermission.
Well, the Brothers Tkachuk game.
The Brothers Tkachuk game. As we take a look at our second period game summary, brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. The Bruins with a 5-2 lead after 2 periods of play, doubling up the Canadians on shots, 1 for 4 on the power play, and winning the battle on the face-off circle. So we talked about Jeremy Swayman a lot during the pregame show. We haven't talked about him much tonight because he hasn't seen a lot of action, but has had to make some saves.
If Razor was standing up here, he'd say, but Pellerin, it's really tough when you don't see a lot. And I'm sure it is. You know, you got to talk to yourself and keep sharp. But I like there, and I hope, Razor, I'm right. If you're listening, bud, I like how he drifted out right there. I know drift is more about back, but I just like the presence of him right there, right? Looks big. He gets out. He holds on to both. I mean, yes, he hasn't faced that many, but overall, he's looked very confident, which he is. He's looked very sharp. At the end of the period, had it going a little bit with Suzuki. You know that gets him going, too.
He's had a couple of those going throughout the night. Guys want to stand in front of him. It's like he's pushing him from behind or hacking the back of the leg like he is. So obviously you see the competitiveness is back early. He looks comfortable. That's the key to me.
Bulldog.
Yeah.
That's what they call him.
Yes.
Jeremy Swayman back on the ice for the Bruins, and they're back for the third period coming up after the break as we wrap up the New England Ford Dealers second intermission report. Judd and Brick on the third period call next.
You sure you're gonna be okay? I'll be fine.
Audi dealer today. By Rubenstein Law, the official injury law firm of Bruins coverage on NESN. By Subaru of New England. Fall in love with a brand new Subaru. SubaruofNewEngland.com. By Viva Tequila Seltzer. Get your Viva Tequila Seltzer at Luke's Liquors locations throughout Cape Cod. By Salem 5, helping New Englanders make their move since 1855. And by GMC. See the pros at your New England GMC dealer. We are professional grade. Well, we're about ready to start the third period. Bruins with a 5-2 advantage over the Montreal Canadiens here in the home opener at TD Garden. Here's the Taco Bell take. We're taking a look at the average age on the opening day rosters around the National Hockey League. And these are two of the youngest teams in the National Hockey League. The Canadiens, the second youngest. And I don't know about you, I was surprised the Bruins, the 8th youngest.
Yeah, and if you take a look at that list, Judd, of those teams, who's going to qualify for the postseason, do you suppose?
The Bruins.
And maybe the only one.
And last year, the only team that made the playoffs in that group, the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, imagine being the 8th youngest team in the league and you're making the postseason. And significant wins-loss record during the regular season. That's pretty good in terms of transition and turnover and what you're trying to build here and sustain to be that competitive while you're getting younger as a group.
And Brick, all those teams, if we take a look on the list, they're in various stages of a full rebuild.
Right.
Something that the Bruins have not undergone.
As far as this game goes tonight, Judd, so much to like about what the Bruins have done through 40 minutes. You got defensemen factoring in 4 of the 5 goals. Montgomery, Jimmy's talked about that. Got to get our defense involved to help create more offense for our group. Got a pair of goals from the 4th line. The top line's been productive. They're getting contributions up and down the lineup. They had a power play goal by McAvoy, a power play goal that was taken away on a nice play by the second power play unit by Lindholm. But their puck pursuit, their puck retrieval, their winning battles, and their pace of play as a group, as an entire team, I think that's been the most impressive.
A little pushing and shoving here off the face-off. Rick, as you mentioned, how the goals and the points have been distributed. 2 on the 4th line, 2 on the top line. Your newcomers have been involved. And you highlighted it on the Elias Lindholm tally that was set up by Zadorov. 3-on-2. Kastelik with a drive just off the edge of the blocker. Bidding for his second. Brought in by Anderson. And the Bruins in the first shift here of the third period have come out with some jump. Caulfield fires, kicked over to the far side. Anderson shot blocked. The Bruins, almost able to chip it out. Kastelik might have been gone on a 2-on-1. Back of the net. Anderson bumped into his own guy. Along the near wall, Koepke. Kastelik will lug it out at the red line. He'll flip it in. And it also looks like, Brick, and we still have a ways to go, that the Bruins' coverage issues in that first period, they've started to rectify some of those.
Yeah. When you think about the center position for the Boston Bruins, it's such a critical piece to what they do in their own zone. I know it's a 5-man defensive unit, and some of the goals they gave up to Florida the other night, the defense gets blamed because that's where the goals end up being scored, and they don't have body position, stick position, and they're not winning pucks. That being said, you got Lindholm, new to the system, playing in the middle. Coyle's are returning. You got Frederick, center in the 3rd line right now. Didn't play a lot of center last year. Played a ton of wing. And now you got Kastelik center in your 4th line. So there's some newness to it, and the learning curve is there, and that's a part of it. It's not an excuse, it's a part of it.
And in the Bruins system, there are so many demands placed on that center.
It is.
Peak absorbed the hit. Gallagher with a steal, a backhand, he sent it wide. He's got one of the 2 tallies for the Canadiens tonight. Jack-Eye a long shot. Swayman a stick save. Little screen out in front. Jack-Eye ripped it over to the far side. Armia. The pace is picked up here at the start of the 3rd. Savard almost mishandled it. That long shot taken in by Swayman.
Yeah, good box out there. I mean, that's not a dangerous shot by Savard. Swayman gets an easy look at it. Glove it, calm things down. You know, bad turnovers early in that shift. But let's go back to why the Bruins have been so good tonight. I mean, this is just a 3-zone rush. Why? They're moving the puck at the right time to the right people with pace. You play fast when you move the puck that quick and you're that accurate to the right people. That's a way to start the third period. The Bruins on this pass shift, though. Frederic trying to help out down low. This is what I'm talking about. He tries to make a play to the middle of the ice. It gets stolen. And now you turn what you think is a clean breakout into scrambly defense.
Canadians win the draw, send it wide. Might have been looking for another stick in the slot. In the corner. The Bruins trying to win that battle. Wrench free. Savard takes a look. A burly right-handed defenseman sent it over to the far side. Coyle wanted to crank it back of the net. He's knotted up with Evans. Given away. Gallagher shoots off the post. I think that hit the outside of the bar. Swayman had cut off everything along the far side. Now Coyle. Bruins having a hard time breaking out here. Now Coyle walks his way up the middle. Hounded by Armia. Long right wing feed off the wall. Marchand to Coyle into the right circle. Fires off the post and off the surface.
Well, after a bad turnover, the defensive zone, the Bruins are going to get a great opportunity. Coyle did a nice job of skating this puck, at least to a certain point, just south of the defensive blue line. Marchand, we talked about his energy tonight. He comes back to the puck like a good receiver in football. Get me the puck, I'm open, and then chip it right back. It's basically a give and go. Coyle rips one off the crossbar. There's a bad miscommunication deep in your own zone. Kyle thought he had the reverse going, handed it right to Gallagher. Gallagher didn't have any other options. Swayman tried to seal off that short side. Gallagher thought he had a little bit of room up by the left ear and left shoulder. Short side, caught the outside of the post.
This puck goes over the glass, so we've got to stop. Either that or it hit the curved glass. Gallagher, the longest tenured member currently on the Canadiens, playing in his 13th season. And for Montreal, going through a full rebuild. We touched on it earlier. They've missed the playoffs each of the last 3 years. It's only the third time in franchise history that it's happened. They have never missed 4 straight times. As this puck is sent all the way down, it's deflected, so no icing here. And the catchphrase about Montreal that they're talking about this season is that they want to be in the mix. Play those meaningful games late in the year. Hudson swings far side. It's fired over the crossbar. Barré-Boulet. Up top, Gouli. Shot at far side. Zadorov read it. And this puck goes over the glass.
Well, get ready for the Kings. They're coming in to play the Bruins this Saturday afternoon at 12:30 on Bruins Face Off Live. Get all the latest Bruins news and in-depth analysis. Tune in before every Bruins game all season long for Bruins Face Off Live, presented by Echo Store Technology.
We could talk a little bit more about the Kings later, but they actually are on the road for a ton of time before beginning in Southern California. They actually got to Quebec City October 1st. They got a sizable per diem envelope. Got to be careful in the card game.
How much is it per day now, Jeff?
I believe it's $133.
Wow.
I was told that they got $2,400 in per diem at the start of that trip. The Bruins, of course, went up north to play the LA Kings in Quebec City. But LA stays out east because I thought it was odd that they go to Quebec City and then they have to play the Bruins, but I was told they were going to stay out there the entire time. The president, Luc Robitaille, made sure that everything was all set, so they're going to open the season against the Buffalo Sabres here tonight. Then they're going to see the Bruins on Saturday. They're going to play the 3 Canadian teams in the Atlantic. So Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa. They'll go to Southern California, but they won't start at home. As Zacha with a drive and Primo the same. Marchand trying to pull it free, and Primo finally able to pounce on it.
Well, the Bruins are on the power play. Cole Caulfield in the penalty box for a hook. Bruins looking to extend their lead. They're up by 3 at 5-2. They nearly do. Once again, they win another puck battle in the corner and finds Zacha. Zacha sees he has space to attack the net. Looked like he tried to go short side over the shoulder or 5-hole. Couldn't tell.
McAvoy fires just off the glove of Primo. Marchand up top. Swings it to the near side. Marchand across, set out in front, Zacha down to a knee, couldn't deflect it home. Lindholm, goal and 2 assists tonight to McAvoy walking the line, feeds right of the net. Pastrnak swoops back of the cage. He's got a snipe tonight, sent it out in front, Primo with a stick. Power play for another minute 20 for the Bruins. Right of the net, Marchand. To the dot, pulls it back, spins. Zacha tried to send it across. You had one of the Canadians laying down. Lindholm, stick handles, held onto it. Fooled Matheson for a second. Jammed to the right corner. Here's Marchand to Pastrnak and drive. He blistered it wide. Marchand at the right dot. A head fake. Right of the net, saucer toward the slot, and it never got to Elias Lindholm, and down it goes.
More great puck movement on that power play. That first unit, they're just so interchangeable, and everybody reading each other really well. What a one-timer pass Lindholm made to Zacha, but it kind of handcuffed him a little bit.
Coyle bumps it down low. Half a minute left on this power play. Caulfield in the box. Bruins trying to extend. They currently have a 5-2 lead. Lindholm to Geekie in the right circle. Looking for Coyle. Picked off and cleared. Now Hampus Lindholm back to get it. Shot it off of Coyle's skate, right of the cage, back of the net. Sent up top. Brazeau feeds back to Coyle. The penalty is over. Frederic shoots, deflected off of Bruins' skate and grabbed by Primo. The Bruins had some looks, but Frederic and the Bruins unable to extend. It's 5-2. Of 14.
Yeah, John, it's been a tough game for Jeremy Swayman, I think. Only having the 14 shots, I know he's really excited, know he's really anxious to play his first game since last May, and not a lot of action, not a lot of shots. You guys mentioned in the second period, it took about 8-9 minutes to get his first shot on goal. So I've liked his battle, I've liked his compete. I love the fact that his guys in front of him have scored 5 goals and taken the pressure off late in the second period, and now just cruise into the rest of this game and get ready for the weekend.
Razor, one of the things he mentioned, Rick, I want to bring you in on this as well. He said, I'm a Black Bear, but maybe I'm an honorary Terrier thanks to all the help I got from the guys at Boston University, Jay Pandolfo and his coaching staff. A lot of those guys have spent some time here with the Bruins, and it's helped keep him ready and get him ready for tonight's start. Left to the cage. Swayman stepped out with the left leg. How did he stop that at the far post? And the net is dislodged. We're going to have a penalty here.
Boston, number 73, minor penalty, delay of game for knocking the net off intentionally.
Well, another power play for Montreal. Boston had a chance with Cole Caulfield in the penalty box this previous 2 minutes. Here's the reaction right there by Jeremy Swayman, trying to get that push right to left at a back diagonal, get that left skating pad to that far post. The wraparound got jammed off on the outside of the net. And there's the push with the right arm and body by Charlie McAvoy that's going to send him to the box for knocking the net off, causing the stoppage of play. But, you know, going back to Swayman's game, and you're right, there's still plenty of time here. 13:25 to go in the third period. And if you learned anything from last year, the last 2 years, that no lead is safe in the NHL anymore. Used to be once you get up 1, once you get up 2, the game was over, but it doesn't exist anymore. But, you know, what you didn't want to see happen tonight was if Swayman faced, you know, 45 shots with traffic everywhere and you end up losing 6-5. I don't think that would be a good result either. So I would take this kind of game over that if I had to pick one or the other.
The Canadians going to work on the power play. They're going to try and test Swayman again. Oh, Carlo thought he had it and it squibbed under his stick. 13 minutes to go. The Bruins up 5-2. They trailed 1-0 and 2-1 in the game, and then separated with 2 goals in the second period as the Bruins pounded up the left side and down.
And Doc just hung onto that puck, and I guess he didn't think anybody was moving to get open, and the Bruins finally realized it and caused the turnover.
Fifth power play chance here for the Canadians. Zadorov with a punishing check far side, and he leveled Kirby Dach. And down it goes. Halfway through the McAvoy minor. The Canadians back in their own zone will set it up. Barré-Boulet wheels his way in. Armia sent it back. And now up top, here's Newhook to the far side. Newhook, center point. To the slot, Armia. Let it roll. Barré-Boulet takes a look. Hudson sent it over to the far side. Off a skate. The Canadians back it off. Little battle out in front. That's Peake and Gallagher. Now Armia with a drive. Swayman the save. And it's hoisted out. 13 seconds left on the Canadians' power play. And now here's Hudson. He'll cruise out to the neutral zone, tailed by Frederick. Gets around to check, bumps it to the end boards. Bruins wheel it around all the way down, and that'll do it. McAvoy out of the box. Now Guhle feeds over to the right side. And it's backhanded deep into the Bruins zone. Carlo back to get it. Tufte making his Bruins debut here tonight. Signed her in the offseason. He played 5 games with Colorado last year. This puck sent off the side of the net and over the glass.
A couple of good things to like here with the guys that you're looking for good things from, and one is Nikita Zadorov and his ability to take the body. Great angle. Doc ran out of room, nowhere to go. You just got to take that hit. That's a big body hit. And then here's the one and done. Little confusion up top between the forwards on the rotation when Montreal was moving the puck in the umbrella. They give up the shot in the high slots. Armia, nice stop by Swayman, but it's a one and done. Castleton gets the rebound and sends it 200 feet.
And Swayman of the Bruins coming up with the kill, negating any possibility of the Canadians generating any momentum here in the third period. Down 3. Up top is Guhle. Long wrister. He scores! And right after that, it looked like that puck started to sink. It went low. Blocker side. 5-3 Bruins now.
Yeah, at first blush, it doesn't look like it's redirected at all. It's a face-off win right after a power play where the Canadians don't get anything. But a face-off win in the offensive zone, a quick rotation of slot. Maybe somebody gets a piece of this in the high slot area around the hash mark. Not sure if it changed direction. Might have been Josh Anderson as he rotates right there. Does he get a piece? Yeah, he does. It definitely dips. That's why I said at first blush, it looked like it wasn't deflected, but it looked like it dipped from about 55 feet. And you think Swayman's going to get that, but the replay shows that, again, a loose player with a loose stick, not close enough coverage off a faceoff, and a redirect beats Swayman low to the blocker side.
For Anderson, his first goal of the season, so the Bruins going back to work as it's hacked left of the net. Anderson, a two-time 20-goal scorer with only 9 last year. Pastrnak left of the cage, protects, watched by Suzuki. He'll hack it over to the near side. Carlo down low. Back of the net now, Zacha. He'll swoop over to the near side, send it up top. Carlo, he'll rattle it down low. Pastrnak, far wall. Bumps off the check of Suzuki, then took another hit. Hudson with it. He'll throw it to the open near side. Carlo with a read, he keeps it in. Centered. Pastrnak got a heel of his stick on it. The Bruins trying to keep this puck in. And finally controlled by the Canadians.
Yeah, 2 good pitches, 2 good puck plays by Brandon Carlo.
Rushing in as Marchand just walks the handles. He penetrated the blue line. We're halfway through the third. The Canadians, with the only goal this period, they've cut the margin to 5-3. Steal by Geekie. Shoots. The save made by Primo. Up top, here's McAvoy. Across, Zadorov, far side. The shot delivered by Geekie got blocked. Now Coyle, all the way to the center point. Floats one on net. Geekie tried to jam at it. Cooley blocked it. To Zadorov, shoots, blocked. Newhook absorbed that, and it's fed ahead. Slavkovsky in a race for the puck. McAvoy's going to beat him to it. Now Zadorov reaches out, snags it, send it ahead. Bruins a little help get it out to center ice. Geekie backhands it deep. Slavkovsky with a check on Geekie, and he holds him in front of the Montreal bench. Geekie takes exception to that. And finally the changes are made along the far side. Here's Armia, shoots, sailed it wide. Matheson fires, nobody out in front. Swayman gloves it and holds it. Just under 9 minutes remaining in the third. Swayman and the Bruins up 5-3. Bernie and Phil's, save up to $2,000 on your furniture purchase during Bernie and Phil's Fall Savings Event. So 2 more games on this 3-game homestand. Saturday afternoon against the LA Kings. The Kings last year once again making the playoffs and once again bounced by the Edmonton Oilers in the first round. And then on Monday, an afternoon tilt against the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Panthers. And again, there's going to be some animosity on the ice.
How about that home opener for the Oilers?
The Jets skunk them. 6 Cobb up in Edmonton. And a little wake-up call for Stuart Skinner. He was yanked in that one.
A lot of people picking the Oilers for, you know, early favorites, early season favorites to win the Stanley Cup. And understandable.
They also had 2 guys that were served up offer sheets by the St. Louis Blues, and the Oilers were unable to match, or ultimately didn't match as we have an icing call. And that started to hollow out some of their roster. So you've got the top end guys, McDavid and Draisaitl, Bouchard.
And what is Evander
Kane?
What is Evander Kane's future? When is he going to be healthy enough to play again?
I want to say he's out 5. He's on long-term injured reserve.
Yeah.
And that allowed them to create the space that they needed on the roster. But my understanding is he's going to be out for months. But he's a difference maker for them when he is healthy. Last year, remember the horrendous start that the Oilers got off to. They made a coaching change. Here's Barron with a drive. That got blocked.
And Colorado had their hands full with Vegas, didn't they?
They did.
8-4.
That's a great rivalry out in the West. Matheson up the right side. Chipped into the Bruins zone. And it's tapped back into the Montreal end. Here's Matheson, guides it ahead to Caulfield. He's got a goal tonight. Bruins cut him off at the blue line, chip it out. And now head the other way, Frederick with a burst. Brazo shoots. He drilled it wide. Hacked out to the neutral zone. Caulfield tapped it in. Now Carlo back into the far wall. This won't get out. Suzuki rims it around. Hudson near hash. Got away from Brazo, sent it back of the net. Handed up top, Gooley. Almost lost it, Hudson pulls it back. Now left of the cage. And up top here, Suzuki stick handles and looks. Nobody in the middle of the ice as the Bruins trying to create some space in the middle. Long shot, Swayman kicked it out. And it slapped back into the neutral zone.
That is the Lane Hudson factor right there. His ability to handle the puck, his ability to change directions, his ability to draw people to him opens up other opportunities.
Long drive, Swayman the save on the opportunity that came up top from Hudson. Brazo just tossed one of the Canadians aside, and Caden Gooley's not a small guy. Zacha, right of the net across. Brazo trying to swipe that puck, cannot. It's hacked back into the neutral zone. Foot race here. Newhook watched by Wotherspoon. Both teams making some changes. Lindholm comes back to help. He couldn't get it out. Wotherspoon scoops it up. You can hear somebody was disgusted by that. Zacha bangs it up the right side and out to center ice. Canadians trying to re-engage. Wotherspoon pounds it up the wall and out. Canadians have to tag up. Just over 6 minutes left in the third. Bruins 5, Canadians 3. Bruins trying to square their record at 1-1 and take the home opener. Xhekaj hacked it back of the net. He's playing right now with David Savard. This puck is sent up the middle all the way down. Swayman has to stop it. Zadorov drilled it back out. Quick up. Here comes Pastrnak to Marchand. Spins away from a check. Leaves it in the corner for Pastrnak. Saucered Marchand. Trying to chip it down low. Couldn't get command of it again. Grabbed by the Bruins. Marchand kicked it back of the net. Evans scoops it up. Oh, Marchand. He and Xhekaj getting involved. Slapping some sticks. Now it's sent out in front. The Bruins have it. Zadorov pulls it away from a check. Drilled up the wall and out. Now Matheson, he's going to have to chase after this puck. Gets there at the end boards, recovered by McAvoy. Long indirect pass up the wall. Getting around to check his Beecher. He set up a goal earlier in the game, tallied by Cole Koepke. His first as a Bruin. Kastelik. Oh, he just drilled Matheson in the right corner and leveled him. And this puck leaves the surface. Bruins trying to throw their weight around, win these board battles. Kastelik and the Bruins up by 2 with just under 5 minutes left. and Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.
Well, the top line being productive tonight for the Boston Bruins, and Pavel Zacha, after they forced the turnover, he and Lindholm in one corner. Zacha makes a terrific play, little self-pass for possession, little spin move to shake his check, and Savard uses the net as his ally. And in the switch by the Montreal Canadiens coverage, that opens up enough seam for David Pastrnak to get open. Little one-timer, short side, top shelf over the glove. The Bruins started to pull away at that point in the hockey game.
Pastrnak goals in each of the first 2 games of the season. It's time for the Ford F-150 Final 5. Back of the net, the Canadiens have it. They're trying to make a push. They've outshot the Bruins in the period, 9-5. And have the third period only goal. Look out, giveaway. Here's Gallagher, a shot. And that backhand denied by Swayman, who squared up. Gallagher's been dangerous tonight. Here's Zacha. All right, get command of a puck. Armia's got it. And he'll pound it in around to the near side. Gallagher leaves for Evans. Evans drifts to the corner. Center, they score! Gallagher, Zadorov had no stick. And it's 5-4 Boston now.
Well, Gallagher got the initial chance. Zadorov goes back into the corner, and he knows he has a little open ice play on the breakout to the center iceman, and it hit the referee and went right to Gallagher. Gallagher went back in. Swayman makes the stop. And then before the goal is scored, Zadorov playing without a stick. Broke his stick, tried to get to the bench, get a new one, had to get back in the defensive zone, but he doesn't have enough coverage without that stick. Good patience and a nice pass, a deflected pass that finds Gallagher. A couple of real good breaks for the Canadiens on that shift, but when you get good breaks, you got to take advantage of them, and Gallagher buries one. Make this a 1-goal game.
Puck wobble into the Bruins end. Here's Koepke with it. Backhands it right of the net. Here's Kastelik. Center deflected. They score! Mark Kastelik's got 2 tonight. 6-4 Bruins.
When you ask your fourth line to play a certain way, and it's a simplistic way, it looks like this, and you get rewarded for it. You got to love it. Koepke makes the play down the wall to make sure the puck gets into the zone. He knows the body contact's coming. Kastelik puts pressure on the puck, gets to it, wins a puck race. You drive the net on the other side of the ice. You try to make a play to beat you. Somehow that puck finds its way into the back of the net, and it comes right on the heels of the Gallagher goal, which made it 5-4. Bruins back up 2.
Bruins get on the board 17 seconds after the Gallagher strike. Here's Coyle left of the cage, centered, looking for Marchand. It doesn't get there. And now the Canadiens will carry it out. So some insurance with 3.5 minutes left. Bruins 6, Canadiens 4. Geekie sent it over to the far side. Behind the net, a wrestling match going on. Matheson shoots. Swayman kicked out the left leg. Far side. McAvoy trying to get it free. He's knotted up. Doc rims it around. Matheson around the stick check of Marchand. Doc takes a look. Doc pounds it up top. Matheson shoots, blocked. Primo is about to leave. Here's Marchand. He'll carry it ahead, end of his shift, and he flipped it off the surface with 2:55 remaining.
Yeah, the timing was almost not good for Montreal. I mean, just when Primo started to make his way for the Canadian bench, looking to go, 6-on-5 because you're under 3 minutes. Marchand with the shot block goes out in the neutral zone, and good thing Primo was paying attention. He had to stay in the goal, but Marchand had nothing left by the looks of it. Are they going to call something here?
I don't know. There's a discussion.
Boston, number 63, minor penalty, delay of game.
Now, how are they judging this to be delay of the game? Even if it looked like he shot it out of the rink on purpose, you can't you can't legislate intent there, can you? It's over the red line. You can't legislate as that intent, you know. Maybe the puck's on edge. He's trying to flip it off the glass, keep it down deep, go for a line change. Wow.
I can't remember the last time I saw that call issued. The last time was before it was an automatic if you clear it out in your own end.
Yeah,
cleanly.
They're making the call off body language. Right? I mean, the way he shot it, the way he flipped it, the way his body language was, it looked like he might have done it on purpose, but you can't legislate that, can you? I guess it's within the referee's discretion.
Matheson up top. Sent right of the net. I think this bears a longer discussion, but from where we are in the game, we have to have it later.
Yeah, 6-on-4 here. Bruins got to dig deep.
Bruins crank it all the way down. Primo on the bench for the extra attacker. Matheson cranked it up the middle. Hudson leads it over the line far side. Matheson gets it back center point. Now Zacha, after that puck got free, and Lindholm couldn't sizzle it out. Suzuki near side. Suzuki pulls it back. Matheson, far side, fired. And that one just over Swayman's head. 2 minutes to go. The Bruins with a steal. They'll lift it up the middle. Racing forward, Elias Lindholm. Gets it back of the net, protects it. And he's just going to waste some time.
That was the right idea by Zacha. Just went for the high lob. Make sure it gets out. You can ice the puck, but he knew he had his centerman Lindholm on the fly. It just had too much on it. Couldn't get to it to put it in the empty net.
Big hit delivered by Zadorov far side. Hudson tried to get out of the way as much as possible. Now it's slapped up the middle. Coyle in a race. Matheson able to hook it away from him. Bruins short for another 30 seconds. There's a minute 23 remaining in the game. Slavkovsky, he's been quiet tonight. Puck hit a rut in the boards. Bounces to the Canadians. Now Doc reaches back, can't snag it. McAvoy played it up the wall. Coyle helps win a battle. Here's McAvoy, takes a look, sidesteps a check. Coyle backhands ahead, up the left side, and we've got to stop.
Yeah, I think they called it offside. I think they said Beecher was in the zone too early. Coyle with the effort, lay it out there. I mean, Beecher has the option just to straddle the blue line, stand there and collect it. And probably still get the same result, hit the empty net, but he thought he did enough to stay onside. Good effort by Charlie McAvoy to get that puck. Good effort by Charlie Coyle in the neutral zone to maintain possession.
Johnny Beecher set up what would be the game winner if it stays like this with 61 seconds left. That was scored by Cole Koepke. Now a discussion going on. Michael Markovich along the far side. Trying to shuttle guys on and off that Canadiens bench. Suzuki comes on. He'll take the draw against Zacha. Primo back in net. 5 seconds left now in the penalty to Marchand. Carlo hacked it over to the far side. Bruins back to full strength. Primo to the bench for the extra attacker with 50 seconds left. The Bruins up 6-4. Sent out in front. Swayman down, it never got to him. Marchand brushed it over to the near side. He'll backhand it out to center ice. Jam back into the Bruins zone. Backhanded out. Marchand tried to thread it to Elias Lindholm. Picked off. And the Canadiens bring it back in with 25. Kick back to the net. jammed into the far corner. Barre Boulet played it to the opposite near side. 15 seconds left. Sent out in front. Newhook ripped it over the crossbar. A lot of bodies out in front of Swayman. Barron shattered his stick. Sent all the way down by Lindholm. And with 3.5 seconds left, icing. The game report presented by Sullivan Tire and Auto Service, a 100% employee-owned company.
Yeah, the Bruins are going to win the hockey game, but you know, Josh Anderson, as we take a look at the numbers, Josh Anderson took a liberty with Lindholm behind the Bruin net. He was in a prone position. He hit him real hard. I know he plays a hard game. And then when he's battling for position in front of the net, you can see Lindholm right now talking to the referee. He says, he's just cross-checking me, cross-checking me, cross-checking me. You know, and the referees want to call a delay a game penalty on Brad Marchand, and they're just going to let Josh Anderson do what he wants here in the final seconds of a game the Bruins have put away.
Zacha digs down for the draw. Shot fired. Blocker save Jeremy Swayman. And that'll do it. The fourth line sparkled for the Bruins tonight. Cole Koepke, the game winner, and 2 assists. Mark Kastelik, a couple of goals. And Jeremy Swayman, the Bulldog, in his first start of the season, picks up the victory. The Bruins win the home opener and square their record to 1-1. And the other thing, Brick, we talked about it right off the hop. They are able to flush the performance that they had on Tuesday by the way they played tonight.
Yeah, the phrase I like to use, Judd, is, you know, lots to like about this one, and there was. The pace of play was very good. Contributions, whether you're on the score sheet or not, up and down the lineup. The change on the pairs on D. The new guys that came into the lineup. Swayman able to get, you know, some work in tonight after missing all of training camp, and to come away with the victory and a couple of really important saves. The new guys look much better, much more comfortable. Yeah, there's still a work in progress in their own zone and plenty to clean up, but very important that they play a strong hockey game and get in the win column.
Here's the save of the game, brought to you by TD Bank.
Well, Montreal with the full court press trying to get back in this hockey game. They get a good bounce off the referee, and this is an awesome chance for Brendan Gallagher, who had a pair of goals tonight. Tremendous puck tracking by Jeremy Swayman to be in good position, be square, read the play, and deny Gallagher.
Swayman didn't face quantity, but he did face some quality chances here tonight. The Bruins and Swayman pick up the victory here in the home opener at TD Garden. Adam, Billy, Barry, Razor, everybody's next.